unscathed, my darling.
Oh, thank God.
This is the blood of my men.
Yeah.
We suffered too many casualties. All our guns jammed.
Blame that on your witch wife.
Yeah, baby.
Hey. Hey, Jim. I'm on the blunderbuss again. Well, actually, my beautiful wife Shannon calls the bus Larry. Larry Bird, I guess that's the name of the Twitter bird, and of course the famous athlete. And okay, yeah, Larry's a good name, but then I thought it might be fun to do a play on word kind of thing. I don't know, so I don't know. I started thinking about calling it the blunderbuss. I mean, hey, the blunderbuss. I make a lot of blunders when I'm trying to fix things, so it works on that level. And of course, the old-fashioned type of early shotgun that's, gosh, it's appeared in so many classic TV shows and movies. That's kind of a fun connotation.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna go get you some water.
Yeah, hey, Craigs, when the reinforcements get here, Dennis and I are cool, right? Yeah, we're not on your shit list. Yeah, like, we got tarred and feathered for your ass, so...
Protect me, and I shall make sure that all of you are safe from the mighty sword of...
Oh, shit!
God damn it, Frank! You just ruined my whole life!
Wait. Check his pulse.
But maybe something else would be amusing. How about the cannabis?
Sports, it's a way of life, no hobby. It's a way of looking at that wave and saying, hey bud, let's party.
You hear the bell? We're here.
All right, enough screwing around. I'm trying to get all the systems on this bus working properly, and I started out, struggling a little bit with the water system, trying to trace down where all the what turned out to be drain valves were and get those closed so I could pressurize the system. Got all that working well, and then I'm trying to test all of my holding tanks and the valves and exercise all of that stuff. And when I first put water to the toilet, I mean, all the tanks were bone dry and had been sanitized and cleaned out 5 or however many years ago this bus was put into storage. So the tanks themselves were already clean. So I started putting some clear water into the systems to kind of run them through, and my toilet was leaking. And it's a good thing that I didn't just dive right in and start using the toilet for what its intended purpose is. Otherwise, I'd have had that kind of stuff leaking, because it turns out there's a ball valve in the toilet. When you step on the little pedal, it pumps water in. And if the water doesn't stay in the toilet, then that means it's leaking past the little rubber valve seal. And if the water leaks that way, that means the smell can come back up this way. We don't want that. And then the next problem is the water was coming out on the base next to the toilet and actually running across the floor of the bathroom. So not only was the rubber valve on the ball part of the toilet worn out or rotten, turns out the seal, the rubber seal that goes around the floor flange, was also all decayed. So it's kind of a shitty job, but let me show you what I'm doing here real quick. Okay, the toilet was right in here, and I've got a little bowl there to catch any random drips off my water supply. It looks like this is not the original toilet that was in here, judging by that hole in the wall, but I don't know. It's actually a newer Thetford. We'll see it in a minute. So this had a bunch of rotten rubber on it that I've cleaned off, and I've sanitized and disinfected this whole floor, all the walls, everything. I took the doors off of here, and I haven't cleaned out the inside of these cabinets quite yet. And I've also taken the front off of the heater here, and I'm going to clean that and disinfect it really good, and then make sure I know how this operates, this heater, before I put the toilet back in. This is all while I've got the extra room here. But I ordered the seals. There's my new seal. went in yesterday at about 4 o'clock and ordered these off of Amazon. So this, of course, I will put on the bottom of the toilet before I put it in place here. And let me show you the other one. Okay, they both came together in this bag with also these 4 little nylon washers, which are nice to put between the plastic body of your toilet and the metal nut. There's 2 that hold it to the floor. I'll show you those in a minute. And these 2 are, I imagine, for the 2 that hold the toilet tank to the toilet body, which we have to remove in order to replace this seal. This is the toilet in question, and it's actually not a standard Thetford. It's called the Bravura, B-R-A-V-U-R-A. And the way I got this little panel off the bottom is I squeezed in the sides here, and then there's a little catch under it right here, and that just pops off. And then there was a nut way back there holding it down, and the other one was up front here. So they're actually twisted in there. They're not side by side. I'll show you that on the flange. But the valve seal right down in there is bad, and I have cleaned this all out. That's just sort of stained. The seat, and it comes out here. Let me walk around the other side. The seat comes out, it just pops into these holes here, so it pops out by pulling straight up. And I was expecting to just have a couple of bolts. I mean, what I'd seen is just a couple bolts from underneath, and then you rotate this piece and it pops apart, and it's fairly easy to do. But it turns out that this one is different. So even the kit that I got with these 2, you know, this one's going to be standard, the one that goes to the floor flange. But this is not the same as what I actually need for inside this special piece. So I went and I looked, and you can get a kit. It actually has a gasket for inside here, and there's another place for a gasket. So there's like 4 gaskets and other parts involved, and they want like $35 or $40 for the kit. No place has them in stock. So I don't know if this is an old style or something, but there were, you know, I didn't spend a whole lot of time searching, but the few places I found where they were listed said none in stock. And so this is just a generic Thetford set. And the disassembly of this thing to get to all of the gaskets is really a big pain. So I just decided to ditch this bitch. That's more like it. So you can see this one is a little taller. The old one, of course, is like I said, a Thetford. This is a Dometic. I just got it at an RV supply store. It's actually porcelain instead of all plastic like this one. This one, hollow plastic. It's super lightweight, which is nice. This one's quite a bit heavier with the porcelain, but it's got the pedal on the side instead of on the front. Much smaller base, and I'm gonna have to change. Let me walk around to the other side. Okay, you can see the water connection for the old one is here. So the water connection on the bus has, you know, a thread-on piece, and it comes straight down, and then it goes into an elbow and across. And here, the water hookup is down low here. So I'm gonna have to do some changing things around to get my water hookup here. Plus, if you look at the base here, the holes for mounting are opposite of each other. And on this one, like I said, they were like one was up at a 45 and the other one was down here. They're opposite each other, but not square to the toilet. They're kind of at an angle. I'll show you here. Okay, so you see the new toilet's going to be fitting in this way. So these 2 bolts have to get clocked around to sit here and here. So hopefully I can unscrew this and rotate it where it needs to be, and then screw it back down without too much trouble. Keep your fingers crossed. And like I said, there's my water line as it sits, so I'm going to have to get a different connection to go from the copper here to the actual hookup on the back of the new toilet. Before I do that, though, I'm going to get the instructions out, and I'm actually going to flip through these instructions before I start doing anything too terrible. Sure is nice now that I have the air conditioners working. You can see here that it says it's 96 outside, but it's 75 in here. Although it does say it's going to rain in the future forecast. I don't think that's right. I put the sensor for that thermometer thing out in one of the front jockey boxes, so it would be in the shade and just get the air temperature pretty much. My heater here did not work, so I pulled out the screws, and I'm going to start trying to trace to see where the wire is hooked up, and then I pulled out a couple of screws there. There's some up underneath, so I'm going to pull those out. Also, I'm going to pull out these 8 screws and see if I can rotate this floor flange. Before I do that, and again, I've cleaned all this and disinfected everything, but I have a cup here from, I think, Wendy's. Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to just drop that in there for now to help me not drop any of my hardware into the sewage tank. And I'm going to put on nitro gloves. Well, this flange cannot be rotated. I've taken the screws out, I've given it a little bit of a wiggle, and you know, it's loose, but it's permanently attached to the tank below is how it feels. I don't know for sure. So I think what we've come up with here is it's going to be, we're going to call this one a happy accident.
What happens as you paint, you'll see all kind of things happening on your canvas, and very soon you learn to use all these beautiful little things that happen. I think in one of the earlier shows I mentioned, we don't make mistakes. We have happy accidents.
So I you can see I've marked it with pencil, and thinking the pencil mark here and here would be where I would need the slot for my T-bolts, which these are not the ones I'm going to use, but that's where they would need to be. But instead, I just had the toilet sitting in here, and if I just use these 2 slots, it'll make the toilet sit in here at an angle, and the angle lines up with the angle of this wall. And because that toilet is an elongated bowl, it actually will give more clearance in front of the sink here. So I'm going to install it on those 2 slots and have the toilet be slightly clocked towards the door here. And it seems to really actually fit the bathroom a little better. It's a little weird not being square about against the back wall, but you'll see. I'm going to put it in here shortly. All right, there we have it. She's in. Looks pretty good. It's at an angle, I know. Don't have the water hooked up. I've got to get a flexible line for back there. That one doesn't quite flex enough to make it into the water inlet here, but I'll go to Home Depot and get that tomorrow. And there we have it. All bolted down nice and tight. And I'll have to try to clean up that stuff that's still left on the floor. It didn't come off, and I was pretty good about cleaning everything, but I'll try a little better now that it shows. I figured I'd have, you know, I thought I was going to rebuild the other one. I didn't. So that's how I fixed the leaky toilet in the Bluebird. So it's probably not the right way, in case you hadn't figured it out yet. I really don't know what I'm doing. I just kind of blunder through it. And this is going to work great. And I think it's fabulous being at a bit of an angle. You know? Let me see. Yeah, it works pretty good. And if you're lucky, this is the only time you'll ever see me sitting on the toilet. If you're lucky. Thanks for watching.
Why don't you get a job, Coley?
What for?
You need money.
All I I need are some tasty waves, cool buzz, and I'm fine.